I am here at the Chicago Ghost Conference with our hostess. This is Ursula. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for being here.
We visited with you last year and happy to be here again. Let us know what's going on in the world of the other worlds.
This is just such an exciting year because being here at the Willowbrook Ballroom, where our conference is this year, it has been sort of the dream the entire time we've been doing the conference for the last, 10 years.
Oh, I can see why.
This is, the Archer Avenue, where we're situated, is known as one of the most haunted roads in the world. And the Willowbrook Ballroom sits right in the heart of it.
Cool.
Surrounded by, 6 different cemeteries. Right across the road is an old Capone roadhouse.
Oh,
it's
man.
an ancient Indian trail.
Yeah.
So many deaths from the building of the Illinois-Michigan Canal.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So much history here, going back thousands of years, and all of the modern activity to back it up. This is a place where reports still come in all the time, including sightings of Resurrection Mary, Chicago's most famous ghost. This is her stomping grounds.
She had her final dance here at this ballroom? Did I have that correct?
It's interesting. There are so many different real women that died in car accidents in the 1920s and 30s that people will connect her to or attempt to connect her to. Every single one of those real young women did have her last dance here at the Willowbrook Ballroom.
Wow.
So there is a very real connection.
Oh, wow. Everyone here has got all sorts of different kinds of expertise.
Yeah, it's true. We have so many different people that come from really all over the world, and they all do have a different kind of angle that they use to approach the paranormal. We have many people, of course, who are clairvoyants or mediums or psychics.
Yeah.
A lot of people who are paranormal researchers.
Yeah.
Who are people who invent equipment for paranormal investigation. Authors, of course, historians. So it's so many different people and so many different theories that people talk about. There's a lot of different conventions in the paranormal, but we have always been the one where people say it's really a conference, where people really spend a lot of time talking with each other and getting to know each other's ideas.
Obviously, this conference is something you do every year. What else happens in your year?
We've got a lot of book signings going on because I just had my new book come out about Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, I've been working on that for 30 years. It's 30 years of research into what is believed to be one of the most haunted cemeteries in the world, right here in the Chicago area. So got a lot of promotion for that. And then in the spring, we're trying to put together a Dead of Winter event, bringing together a number of mediums from around the country. And of course, a haunted location in the Chicago area. So that's something that I'll be working on after this.
Cool. Everyone here does have an open mind to hear what other people are saying and maybe have their mind changed about something or see something that really shocks them. I love that you produced this very welcoming atmosphere for all the weirdos.
Oh, we love them.
We feel very welcome here.
I do.
My foray into the paranormal all started when I was 2 years old.
Oh my.
I had to get everything from my mom because I don't remember anything when I was 2.
Wow.
My grandmother died when I was 2 years old, and the house she was living in reverted to my dad because he was the only one of her kids living in the state of Minnesota. When Grandma died, you fast forward now, she died in December of 77. You fast forward now to March of 78. Mom and Dad are now starting to clean the house to get it ready for sale. And Mom would just plop me right on the floor at my toys and just say, stay out of trouble. Well, I was always getting up and going to the staircase and looking up at the staircase and waving.
Oh boy.
And mom was always like, well, what are you waving at? And I was just learning how to talk, so I couldn't say grandma. So I used to say gamma.
Oh, wow.
And I'd always say gamma, gamma, gamma.
Wow.
And Mom was like, oh, that's cute.
You remember your
But Mom didn't, I'm getting all this from my mom. My mom didn't know how to say to my dad, how do you tell a 2-year-old what death is?
Yeah, okay.
I'm just learning what my feet are,
Yeah.
I also used to say, I would point to the leg and I'd say, owie, owie, owie.
Oh.
And Mom at first was like, does your leg hurt? Does your leg hurt? And I'd say, no, gamma, owie, owie. And apparently Dad told Mom, yeah, when we found your grandma upstairs, because Grandma died upstairs, she had bed sores all over her right leg.
Oh, wow.
My mom says, well, you were just 2 years old. I have zero memory of Grandma at all.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Wild.
My brother has vague memories. Now, he was 8 when she died, so he knows more. Of course, my dad obviously no.
Yeah.
But I don't remember anything, and it's sad.
So,
I've been in the house recently. Like I said, it's now a tattoo shop,
oh, all right.
which I think is the coolest thing.
Interesting.
I think
That
it's the
is
coolest
pretty
thing in the
cool.
world.
What would Grandma?
My mom says that Grandma would be rolling in her grave, and I'm just like, now I'm the only member of the family that has tattoos, so maybe that's why I think it's the coolest thing in the world. But here's the kicker. I went in, and the first thing that happened to me was when I went in, it was the tattoo owner's shop's 2 dogs came running at me, and I'm scared to death of dogs.
Oh boy.
Absolutely scared to death. And so I got out and I slammed that door, and I hear whatever their name was, get over here, get over here, get over here.
Huh.
So they pulled them back, and I come in. They're like, do you have an appointment for a tattoo? And I was like, no. I just want to look at the house. They're just like, well, you know it's not for sale. I was like, well, I wouldn't buy this thing if I was a multimillionaire. And then I went through the whole story with the tattoo shop. And the tattoo guy was tattooing, and he stops in mid-tattoo, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to at least finish the line. He stopped mid-line, put the tattoo gun down, called his 8-year-old son who was upstairs playing
Oh, wow.
down and says, can you tell him what you see upstairs?
Whoa.
And then he described my grandmother.
Whoa.
I did tell the tattoo artist there, if you ever come in and you see a full meal spread set up, then you know it's Grandma because she loved to cook.
Oh, good
And I said, if you do, you better call me right away because I'm coming to eat. That's what I'm coming to do. And I've always wondered why do my past family members show themselves to me?
Yeah.
Is it because I'm open to this stuff?
Yeah.
Or is it because during wrestling I've had too many chair shots to the head and now I'm just,
That opens up the doors of
I'm just-
perceptions. I understand.
Those doors that were closed when we were kids, and then the next chair shot, hey, we're open. Hey,
Why not?
There's Abraham Lincoln going down the street. What's he doing here,
So you were telling me you teach classes in paranormal studies and are sort of the Scully of the paranormal world.
I am, and it's just something that has sort of come about. And what was really funny about that is I had never watched the show.
Okay,
and
yeah.
Just this year I binge watched it because I was getting this comparison so much, and I was like, all right, who am I getting compared to?
Is it correct? Now that is the skeptic of the two. Is that right?
You know what? I am a skeptic, but I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I do believe in things, but I have identified as it's been a journey through
Yeah.
this all. I've been doing investigating research since 2001.
This genre of, ghost hunting and all this kind of stuff is having such a surge right now. And if you've been doing it since 2001, you must have witnessed what is going on, do you think?
It's an awakening.
Yeah.
You know what? But it comes from people like us, everybody that's here, going out there and connecting.
Yeah.
Because now it's like at first trying to get it into the world of academia, the classes,
Sure.
and developing them, and now they start to see how mainstream this is.
Yeah.
And people will come out.
Yeah.
And even for myself, because it's been a journey for me. I just recently finished a documentary that will be coming out called Into the Woods.
Cool.
A case study on the Wisconsin Sasquatch
Oh.
and other phenomena.
Oh, neat. Okay.
And it has been really cool because it involves UFOs, it's ghosts, it's Bigfoot.
Yep. Whatever goes bump in the night,
Right.
somebody can imagine.
And they're all connected.
Wow.
But I had a paranormal prejudice, and I've been talking about it because my case partner for this documentary, he's the molder.
I
He's
was
the
going to say
believer.
that. Okay. He
It's
wants
big,
to believe. And you're like saying, wait, you have to be able to measure or, because our minds can play tricks, so how do you know if it is something
Well,
external?
that's it. And that's exactly why I studied the neurology
Yeah.
and brought in the quantum physics into it, because I think a lot of it, no matter what the subcategory, we're dealing with cryptids or we're dealing with UFOs or ghosts, there's a common thread.
Sure.
It's now you see it, now you don't.
Sure, yep.
And there's little things even beyond that. So what happens is you know, you look at this sort of thing and you're like, what is the connection here?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I come in. And also just even like with the Bigfoot thing. You know, my partner in that case, we came across a structure. He's like, it's Bigfoot. I'm like, it's a hunter's blind.
Have you had a crazy experience yourself? Something that you would feel comfortable?
You know, here's an interesting thing, and because it's just more recent. We were out at the Kettle Moraine, and this is we did the documentary Into the Woods.
Cool.
First time out, I'm just going out at first, just hang out with a friend, a colleague, see what he's up to.
Yeah.
So I had no equipment with me, which I wish I did now. I came across the most incredible light anomalies I've ever experienced in my life. 30 minutes of 4 to 10 feet irregularly shaped diffused white light, anywhere from 6 feet off the ground to the treetops. That just scanned about a 100-foot area.
Wow, in the woods.
In the deep thick of the woods. So we're not headlights. It's not. So now my brain is going, what is causing this? So this is when I started taking geological, sampling to find out what's going on there.
Wow, cool.
And then at the same night, had a phantom experience out there.
Oh, wow.
I thought it was going, and was kind of creeped out because I thought it was going to be like a large wolf or something behind us on the path.
Sure.
And turned around to find nothing there.
Oh, man, but you felt it, and you're like, what is going on? You have to know.
So now I was hooked. I started going out there. A year later, still going out, and we had a film crew, with us at some of the time.
Even just the journey sounds fun. It is still a trip out into the woods with your like-minded friends, and
and finding all the differences.
Yeah.
Because, I personally think that I'm not convinced what a Bigfoot is. I think that one exists, but I don't know if it's an interdimensional as much as ghosts pop in and out.
Okay, sure.
Or I don't believe it's a 900-pound primate living here.
Right,
but there are some camps that do believe that.
Yep, all spectrum of belief.
So, those types of things. And then on the ghost side, that was a more personal thing. I was at a Waverly Hills sanatorium and experienced for the first time getting scratched.
Oh my gosh.
And it is exactly how everybody describes, where it's just this burning and you're like...
And no reason.
No, there's no reason, because it's not like anything you were by anything
That's
to do
wild.
it. And so that was the first time I've had that happen.
And then you wonder what else. There's a whole...
But my brain immediately goes, how cool is this? Because in order to cause to break the skin or a scratch, there had to be a partial manifestation of some kind.
Yeah. Something
or there's some sort of lapse in time because I'm not seeing anything, but I'm experiencing the physical of it. So that kind of stuff intrigues me.
Tell us a little bit about your book.
All right. Well, Breakfast with Bigfoot it's a children's book for 3 to 6 year olds, and it happens to star Bigfoot. It includes sort of sound wilderness principles for little kids ages 3 to 6. But the interesting paranormal tie-in with the book is that it's actually based on a true story or true Bigfoot encounter that I found years ago while searching through the files on BIFRA, which is the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. And it's modeled after a man's encounter that he had with a Bigfoot that he claimed had kidnapped him in the middle of the night, but had taken him back to his nest, his Bigfoot nest, and sort of kept him safe throughout the night and then released him in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And I found the story interesting but amusing in the sense that the man was captured by the Bigfoot. He had fallen asleep in the woods and had claimed that he woke up when he was being carried by his backpack.
Oh my
So
gosh, that's a sort of a sweet story.
I sort of thought, how can this be made into a children's book? So I changed the adult grown man into a little girl.
That is great.
And then cuteness ensues.
Cuteness ensues, and lessons about how to survive in the woods.
Sure.
And, you know, perhaps helpful in case you encounter a Bigfoot.
I would hope so. In case you do encounter Bigfoot, but apparently he can be friendly. So.
Oh, good. I'm happy to learn that. You were saying that you got a start here in Chicago radio, and you had this crazy experience calling the DJ and knowing what he lost.
Yes, he called. He says, "If anyone can tell me what I lost, I get tickets to see the group Genesis." And I like Genesis, okay?
Cool.
So I called him up and I said, "Well, you lost your sunglasses." And the producer said, "Well, he talks about that all the time. I got to go." And I said, "Well, wait a minute. He didn't lose anything then." He said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "He swallowed a temporary cap in his tooth."
Whoa.
And he said, "Well, how do you know that?" I said, "Because I see it when he talks."
Wow.
"Well, who is this?" I said, "Joe." And he said, "Joe who?" And I said, "Yeah." So the guy came. It was Chuck Britton at WS Radio in Chicago.
That's great.
And he got on the air and he says, he swore up and down that I knew him. I said, "I never met you in my life," you know.
Wow.
And so I told him I was in a hospital pain clinic, you know. And he said, "Well, when you're getting out, it's a couple more days. Can you come down to the studio?" So I did.
Cool.
And it was, it was late night show because he was on from midnight to 4.
Oh, neat.
And I went down to the studio, and he gave me a ticket. He said, "You want to take some calls?" And I said, "Yeah." And he kept me on for an hour, and the phones never stopped.
That's insane.
So that's
what
how
a
it
crazy
started.
Story. What? Tell me about if you have what is a psychic experience that you've had that really was big and powerful, if you don't mind.
In the 60s, in the late 60s, all of our friends, we'd get out of high school, we'd go up to the Schiller Woods in northwest side city,
Cool,
Chicago.
yeah.
And all they call the long hairs hang out there. And I would always see this black Electra 225 drive in with another guy in front, and they had the lights that cops have on their cars. We had 2 of them, there were red lenses on each one.
Oh.
And every time I saw this guy, he just had this creepy feeling, really, really creepy feeling.
Wow.
And everybody thought he was a cop. We all thought he was a cop. I said, "No, there's something more about this guy, you know?"
Wow.
Because he came out of his car and he was talking to some people. Anyway, it turned out to be John Wayne Gacy.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah.
And you knew it. You felt
yeah,
something
yeah,
weird. And
yeah.
when you have a feeling, I
Yeah.
mean, did your friends know this is something to take seriously?
Well,
or?
no, they didn't know.
but you
I didn't
knew.
really take about it. It's just I didn't feel comfortable around the guy.
Wow.
I said, and I can tell you what happened from that years. He did construction stuff, remodeling and
Okay,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, my mom wanted some stuff remodeled, and it was on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. I was home, my father was home, my brother was home, my sister was home, the dog was there, and my mom, and the doorbell rang, it was late. I answered the door, and this guy came at the door, and it was him, okay?
Whoa.
And I didn't say nothing, all I realized is he stunk, really. I'm sorry, he had a really bad odor,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, okay.
And so my mother came up and said, "Ma, the guy's here for the remodeling job." So, she went to the door, and all of a sudden she looked at him, got real wide. No, I changed my mind.
Wow.
And then she just basically.
She got the vibe off
And
him,
yeah,
too.
she hung up. He got upset. And so anyway, he left, and I looked at her. I said, and she said. I said, "Ma, he stunk." He said, "He had the smell of death." I said, "Ma, that was B.O., wasn't it?" She goes, "No." He said, "You felt it." I said, "Yeah, I felt it from before." And then my father, my brother, the dog, and they said, "What are you talking about?" They didn't smell anything.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
but
they
you
didn't-
did share that part of the experience, being a little deeper with your mom.
I got to tell you something real quick. I did the Bible Belt.
Oh.
And that's
Oh,
really,
dear.
really hard,
Not
I remember
my
one lady
preferred
called me.
venue.
She says, "Well, how long you been recruiting?"
Oh.
And I says, I started about 6 months ago. Because I started an organization called the Cenotech, the Center for Natural Technology. Okay? You can't teach anybody to be psychic, but you can teach them how to bring out the abilities they have. Okay?
Oh, neat.
So and then I said, "Wait a minute, I know what this is about." And I said, the host says, "What do you do?" She said, "Recruiting for the devil." Yes. I said, "Have you ever read 1 Corinthians 12 to 14? And she goes, "Have you ever read this?" I said, And then the host said, "Have you read what he asked you to?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, you read that first and call us back."
Yeah, oh my goodness, no one
And then it
more
really talks about
well-read.
what, the gifts that God gave man.
Of course. course,
you know?
Of course.
And
I mean, that, you know, people are afraid of things that they don't understand.
You know, it's a natural ability. Everybody, all you people have some type of intuition. How many times you think about someone else and they'll call,
Sure.
you know, or you get a feeling you'll be in a room with people and one you just don't like, you don't know why.
Yeah.
There's all intuition happens every day.
Sure, and I mean, even just being a normal person walking around,
That's right.
You talk to someone for a couple minutes, you suddenly care about their lives. That is like a big deal. I mean, you can't shut it off.
No, you can't. You know, it's really interesting. And one of the things I teach is, you know, the best way to bring it out is to learn how to lower the volume of the outside world and turn up the volume of the inside
When
world.
you're talking. Oh,
that's
that's
right.
interesting.
That's exactly how it works. That's the easiest way to get it done. So.